It's receiving benefits at the 100% rate and permanently and totally disabled. So when that law first started, we would see vets with a 70% rating and they were permanent and total, and it was a big discrepancy. So we went back to Lansing and we're like, the VA isn't rating them at 100%, but you're making them permanent and total, so you need to pick one. So they added an additional line on the VA letter that says, you may have a 70% rating, but are you receiving benefits at the 100% rate? Yes or no. If it says yes, then that's the first one. Second one is you're receiving specially adapted housing, also known as pecuniary assistance, so ramps, elevators, chair lifts. Third one is you're rated as individually unemployable. So if your VA letter says any of those things, you don't pay tax. When I get a veteran buying $1 million home and then I took the taxes to zero, I get so excited because they deserve it, in my opinion.
Yeah. And a lot of people, there's an affidavit you can fill out. It's like form 3258 or something like that. I had just helped somebody in Genesee County with that too, where sometimes they just think automatically, oh, I get a home, now I'm tax exempt. I'm like, no, you got to fill that affidavit out, send it to the county. So that was one of
So the law changed. So veterans since 2013 have had to file every single calendar year. My poor guys come in wheelchairs and crutches and everything, and they have to bring me this form every year. Well, starting January 1st, 2025, it's a one and done filing. They can file the disabled veterans form, and it'll stay on for the lifetime of their ownership.
That's really good.
And unremarried surviving spouses can also pay no taxes of the veteran.
Also, in case you guys didn't know, because obviously, prior veterans couldn't pay a realtor's commission or anything like that. There's a temporary August 10th, it'll be active where they can. So in the event that if you're like, hey, I can't serve as a veteran because they legally can't pay my commission, August 10th going forward, it's temporary.
Danny Chawad.
That you can do that. So I'm sure brokers will talk more about it and everything, but that's what we've got updates on.
Yeah. Yep. I love my vets. I have over 70 that I help every year. The one thing you have to remember with your veterans is even though we're taking their taxes to zero, they're still responsible for special assessments, garbage fees. I had a widow of a vet almost lose her house to tax foreclosure over a $300 tax delinquency because she didn't pay the $175 garbage pickup fee for 2 years. Because we can't exempt that. So that almost happened. But just call me if you ever run into that. What are you doing? Waiting for me to stop?
No, I thought you were going through some stories.
Do you want me to?
It's up to you. We can let them pick. We still got some property tax stuff. I haven't hit ChatGPT, and we didn't finish social media. So
that means you're gonna have to come back. No, I'm kidding. What do you want to talk about? What are you guys most interested in?
Honestly, I got that.
Property tax.
I'm interested in already.
taxes, ChatGPT, or social?
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. Any other
Taxes.
taxes?
Do a hand raise, I guess.
Yeah, so we're 1 and 1. Anybody else want to ChatGPT or taxes? Chat? All right. Let's have some fun.
In all reality, taxes is really heavy. And so today we are more so just doing why taxes matter in his whole planning, right? I do have a Con Ed next Friday on Zoom that goes over. It's 2 hours of legal Con Ed.
Is that the one I did?
You did that one. What did you think of it?
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was very informative.
Ashley, you've done it. Nadine, have you taken my class?
With Alliance.
With Alliance title. Who else has taken that? Sumaya? Yeah, you took it.
Oh, the one.
Yeah. Yep. Andrew? Did you take it or did I just say you took it? No, I'm kidding. It's a lot of math, but
How about two birds, one stone? How about we learn chat and how to use chat to implement the tax information?
So, I tried using, okay, you don't want me. I tried using ChatGPT because everybody was telling me I needed to do it. And I said, how are property taxes calculated in Michigan? And the answer it gave me, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't like.
That's bad input is weak output.
I was testing it, right?
I used the site with your website, and I've asked ChatGPT questions. It pretty much just read your site and then gave me information. So
Really? I don't feel like I have a lot of text on there to give information, do I?
it did what I asked it.
You got all those
If you,
links and stuff on there.
it's really more about talking to it like you would to a person, and sometimes you gotta refine it and until it yeah.
That's why you're the expert on it.
No,
Yeah,
no,
you are.
that's right.
I'm not. He's good at it. I can help you with property tax. Don't worry. Let's just try to be mindful of time here. We've had a couple of delays today. I will give you a 10-minute crash course on what you need to know.
I have a site, I'll run it by you, but I've been using the site and just kind of spits out
Property tax estimator on Michigan Department of Treasury.
I don't know because it's a long link, but it selects the school, county, and everything, and then it gives me a number. Then I go fact check
It's
it.
kind of like the property tax.
So I personally don't love the Michigan Property Tax Estimator because it uses outdated millage rates.
Oh,
When you have a millage rates can increase quite a bit in one calendar year based off of political elections and already approved millage caps. So like if the police department was approved for 15 mills in the 80s and they've only been charging you 10, they can raise it 5 mills right off the bat just because they were approved for it 30 years ago. 5 mills on a $500,000 property is $1,200 just for something getting voted in.
But on that Michigan property tax site, isn't there a disclaimer on the bottom?
I don't know, I don't go there.
Yeah, there is. I think it updates every August.
With the new rates? That wouldn't make sense because, so wait, that means that they have 2022 rates up right now.
I think it has,
I think it's 2020.
it's always a year behind. I feel like it's always a year behind, and then it says like in the mid-year that it will update with like, I don't know, but I believe there's a percentage on there.
There's no way that in August it'll update with current rates because the treasurers don't even get the December rates until November.
No, it updates in August. It'll be 2023, I think.
That's so far behind, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Big time. And they'll try to sneak in on primary elections, spring elections, August elections, little like increases.
Well, they did with the transportation,
Yeah.
that, and supposedly we voted yes on increasing the millage, and then supposedly applied to fixing our public transportation.
Ready? Or am I still going?
I thought you were slow.
I don't even know anymore. No, just kidding. Does anybody work with residential builders?
Not yet.
So there is a cool form. I'll just show you really quick. For those of you who have not been on my website, this is part of my class I teach. If you go to forms, I have a couple things here. Disabled veterans exemption. First of all, here's a link to the form that David was talking about. Under helpful links is a guide to disabled veterans from the state of Michigan. Principal residence exemptions, property transfers, like this is pretty cool. If you want to know if something's going to uncap or not, this will tell you exactly. Like if we see life estate, it'll give you all the different scenarios of whether or not it's going to have an uncapping or not. So this is a really cool tool. But back to the forms for residential builders, there's form 5033, eligible developmental. I had Lombardo file 10 of these with me or in the spring. They can get a homestead on the property that they're building on with the intent to sell it. So it's pretty cool. They can save 18 meals of school operating, so basically a homestead, literally, for a builder. But you can't be building your own home. It has to be like no intention of ever living there. You're going to be selling it. And you can do this for up to 3 calendar years in a row also. So if a builder's taking quite a long time to build, they can keep filing this once a year for 3 years in a row. I've actually had them do that. So
Do they do that while they're building?
So if you start building after December 31st of a calendar year and you file this by June 1st, you'll save all year. If you start building after June 1st, you can file it by November 1st and it'll do the same thing. Yep. So lots of cool things on here. I kind of go over this in my class, but all these GIS maps you'll definitely want to play around with. I can talk to you guys about this later, but these maps, these links that I have here, you can look at flood zones, wetlands, measure. You can create, sorry, being rude. You can, like I'll go on there if somebody has like 10 acres and they want to split it into 4 pieces of 2.5 acres each. I know how to come up with all the math and calculate. Does anybody know how many square feet are in an acre?
43,650.
4 old chicks doing 35 and a 60.
I like that. I like you, April.
That's how I remember.
43,560.
Oh,
You had
560.
your
I
numbers
said
transposed.
650.
That's okay. A for effort. Yeah, 43,560 square feet in 1 acre. So yeah, I could talk forever. My 2-hour legal Con Ed could be 3-4 hours. So.
And these will be, remember, we said community, so these will be ongoing workshops. We have an online, anybody familiar with Circle? So Circle is like a community app where a lot of this material will live. So if you're like, I want to remember what Christine said about this, you can go find that in there. Or I want to know what Mike said about like this thing, you can go find that in there and that's there. So I can wrap with, anyone know who this is? Stephanie Lavelle, one of the top luxury realtors out of Chicago. So I was out on a Zoom with her yesterday, and I was asking her questions for you guys. So for me, on the mortgage side, so we want to give you guys actionable items right now. So one thing, I think based on what she said, I'd call every single builder I know and let them know what she just said, right?
Form 5033.
What? Oh,
Form
yeah.
5033. You can ask me again, though.
Because if they know that you know that, then they're like, wait a minute, I need this person in my corner, right? So with Stephanie, I was asking her because what we do, what gets tracked gets managed. So I'm very results oriented, but I track my activity, right? So I need to understand, well, what do I need to do per day? I need to put 5 pieces of content out per week. I need to comment on 50 social media comments, 3 direct messages a day, 1 appointment set via DM a day, 1 event a week, 15 face-to-face, 5 video messages, and 60 voice-to-voice calls. So anybody play sports in here, former athletes, anything like that? Like if you can't check the scoreboard, how do we know if we're winning or losing, right? So sometimes we've done so much in the day and then we're like, you ever have those days where you feel like, man, maybe I didn't really accomplish anything, but if you actually sit down and you're like, wait a minute, I did this, I did this, I did this. So I'm constantly tracking my activity. So what happens in the mortgage business and on the real estate side, excuse me, on the mortgage side, the number one struggle we see with loan officers across the country is they don't know who to call, they don't know what to say, and they don't know when to call. So we solved that whole problem for them. We said, all right, you need a focus 50 of real estate agents, because that should be about 40% of their business. A focus 50, and those are people that do 2 or more deals a year with us, right? Now, I was asking Stephanie, what does those lists look like for a realtor, right? Because for me, I've got my focus 50 realtors. I've got a target 300 realtors of 300 agents who know, like, and trust me throughout the country. And some of them they don't necessarily send me loans, right? Like, I have an agent in Tennessee. Like, she just connects me with other agents all the time, right? So we don't want to overlook some of these people. Just because somebody is not sending you deals, never miss, like, the relationship. Some people are massive connectors, right? They know how to put the right sort of people together. Like, oh, wait a minute, David would be a great fit to meet with April because of whatever the reason is, right? And then I would make that introduction to you guys. Christine does a good job of that. So when I asked Stephanie, I said, my list looks like I'm calling the top 50 realtors that I work with once a week. I will never call you guys on Monday, so don't worry about it. And I will never ask you to go to coffee. You are more than welcome to come here anytime. I just respect your guys' time very much. The second list is my centers of influence. So for me, estate planning attorneys, financial advisor heavy, life insurance agents. But what we miss a lot, and I think realtors miss this a lot, so we created something for you. And when I say you miss it, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because you guys are just such nice people, and I mean this. I promise I mean it from the bottom of my heart. You guys are such nice people that you don't know how many referrals you guys give out to people that don't refer you back. Does everybody in here give deals to their property inspector? Does everybody in here give deal? I guarantee you, if I text any one of you right now and I say, hey, I need X, you've got a plumber, you've got a landscaper, you've got a this. So the old school way of doing this, so a realtor's list, this is from Sarah, this is from Stephanie, I'm sorry. Her top 50 is what she calls VIPs. VIPs are people that send her 2 or more deals a year. What I asked her, I said, are a lot of those other realtors from other markets that send you business on relocation, and she had one that was in Chicago, moved out of the city into the suburbs, and she gives her like 10 deals a year because in Chicago, I mean, to get from the suburbs to the city is not as easy as it is for us here in Detroit, right? So her niche became luxury. So anything luxury from that person comes to her. That person is a VIP to her, even though it's another real estate agent. So anybody who's sending you 2 or more deals a year. The other list for you guys, realtors, is your top 50 past clients. Like for us, we're doing 2 annual reviews for a client. When we call ourselves mortgage advisors, and I believe that I like the term real estate advisor too, but advisors show up whether there's a transaction or not. Loan officers and the average realtor show up only when there's a transaction. So what we've built, my buddy Andrew Pollack owns the company, Lead Pops. This is the company that built out the funnels for Zillow, Bankrate, Guaranteed Rate, Movement Mortgage. I mean, bigger players, bigger tech field. So we've created so that we can start to track this to say, okay, every time I refer an architect through my funnel, it tells that architect, hey, Mike Hajar sent you another lead. Now, think as I go through these things, think who you've dealt with. Artificial turf and pavers, bathroom remodeling, electrician, epoxy flooring, garage cost estimator, home security systems, home inspectors, home builder, home stager, HVAC, kitchen remodeling, painting contractor, moving services, landscape, pest control, plumbing, pool builders, water damage, solar, roofing, windows and door replacement. How many of what I just named, with a show of hands, how many of you have referred to at least one of these people? Okay. How many of you have received the referral back from these people? Okay. Well, we gotta figure out what April's doing.
Not all of them, but
So these are the people, like that homeowner industry segment, they're in front of homeowners, home buyers and sellers all day long. That's who they're in front of. So we've done collaborations with jewelers, right? Because typically if somebody goes to buy a ring, the next thing that they're going to buy is the house. So the jeweler will prep them for, hey, I know you're getting married next year. When you're ready, this is the person that you want to talk to. Talk to my guy Mike, and whatever it may be. We had a VA inspector, one of my loan officers in Florida. I had like a horrendous January. My numbers were like, our branch numbers were not good. But one of my loan officers closed 8 deals. So I'm like, I called her. I'm like, Sue, how'd you do 8 deals this month? She said, oh, they're all from this guy, Joe, whatever his name is. I'm like, the VA inspector? She's like, yeah. So my point is we overlook these referral sources. We give them business. You guys way more than the lender because you guys are the ones with the contacts, right? So this is just a good thing to keep in mind, knowing, okay, if I've got my top 50 VIPs that I call once a week, I've got my top 50 past clients that I call once a week, and we'll give you guys scripts and what we say. Like, does anybody here do an annual equity review with their client? I like that, love it. So what we talked about last time, for those of you that were here, Tommy Choi, another agent out of Chicago, does a circle prospecting strategy, but he'll call and, I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Melina.
Felina? Melina. So I call, and me and you have a past client, right? Call the past client, and I say, David's our past client. David, hope you're doing well, my man. Just, doing our annual review here, just touching base. Obviously, you're at a 2.5%. There's nothing to do with your mortgage, but I want to make sure there's been no changes in your life and that you're always in the best financial position. Have you, by any chance, David, been getting like mail from like other realtors about like how the values in your home or of your neighborhood are all going up? Like, are you getting mailers from them?
Say yes.
Like, oh yeah.
Because if you buy a house, you will, right? Okay, so a lot of those realtors just kind of mail out. They don't know who it is, but I've talked to Melina, and Melina and I do what's called an annual equity review every year. Would you find it helpful if Melina spent 15 minutes with you with the form that I just sent you? Because I sent out a monthly equity form to them. Would you find it helpful if Melina spent 15 minutes with you on a Zoom to talk to you specifically about what is going on with the values in your subdivision? Would you find that helpful? Okay, cool. Are the neighbors getting all these letters too?
Yeah.
Are they pretty excited that their home values are going up?
Yeah.
Okay. We're still going to do the private Zoom for you, but do you think your neighbors would find it helpful to also know what's going on?
I think so.
Okay. So if you can, and we just want to add, again, as much value, and that way there's not confusion of one realtor said this, and Melina's really the pro over there. Can I count on you to get 5 of your neighbors onto a Zoom so we can kind of do one for the subdivision?
Yeah.
Okay, now we put 5 in front of you, right? So this after stuff comes down to, and that's one scenario that Tommy uses, but it's because all it's coming down to is there's touches always after the closing of, some people give out pies. That's okay. That's still thoughtful. But I want to give something that is going to be memorable forever, right? Like changing their whole financial picture around or whatever it may be. So I think couple strategies that you can pick from. One, I would call every builder with what she said. I'd create and segment a list of your top 50 VIPs, your top 50 past clients. And if you don't have top 50 past clients, I know a lot of realtors who are out of the business. And I know a lot of realtors who are in the business that will never pick up the phone and call a past client, ever. So, and they will gladly just let you call them because they're never going to call them. So there's that. And then the third one was something with investors.
With rentals? With what? Or with tax day?
Tax day. Did you
Use
already
it
go?
to your advantage?
Yeah, did you go
No,
through
I
that?
did not.
Can you? This one I would call every investor that you know, and let's let Christine take that.
Show of
away.
hands, how many people actually have closings in December? I know that it's popular in summer, right? But has anybody ever had closings in December? Okay, so government doesn't want you to know this, but tax day for property tax is December 31st. And you can leverage that day to save money for your clients. And what I mean by that is, if you close with your client December 30th, the very next day I'm uncapping their taxes. Okay, I'm sorry. If an investor is buying a home from a primary resident, somebody who lives there, and they're going to put it into a rental on December 30th, December 31st, I am raising their taxes to half of market value and getting rid of their homestead, which will most likely triple or quadruple their property tax. But if you close January 1st, that investor gets to inherit that prior owner's homestead all year, and you're not uncapping until the following calendar year. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It's okay if it doesn't. Okay. So, when I see people rushing to the closing table at the end of the year, I'm always like, oh, if they just waited 1 week, they would save all this money, and it would be great. It doesn't matter if you close January 1st or December 30th, I'm still uncapping you the following year, raising your taxes. But at least you can get ahead of it by a year. So this is where I see a lot of miscalculation from lenders. They're looking at a property that's currently homesteaded, right? But the investor is not going to be homesteaded. But because of the time that they bought it in the year, they didn't even know that they were going to be inheriting that, but they still use the wrong taxes. It's just such simple math. So leverage tax day. If you have a client moving out that isn't selling their house right away, if they file a removal of homestead after January 1st or after, and they move out January 2nd, that house gets the homestead all year, even if they moved out January 2nd. Because you have to be residing in the home as of December 31st to get the homestead the whole calendar year. Even if they move out January 1st, that house still gets it. So that's where you can get 2 homesteads at the same time without filing additional paperwork, by using the dates strategically.
And you can do that with helping with the loan as well, right? If you at the end of the month versus the beginning of the month for the closing with the interest and stuff like that.
I mean, lenders say it that way, but all that's really happening, so let's say we close December 29th, we're only gonna collect 2 days of prepaid interest, but then they're gonna have a payment due, so December 29th, they're gonna have a payment due February 1st. Where if they close January 1st, we're gonna collect 30 days of interest, which is more to your point, but the payment wouldn't be until March 1st. So it ends up being the same thing, but lenders like to be manipulative. And you're gonna skip a month. No, you're not there's no free lunch, right? Like lenders are not just like throwing, but that's how lenders like to position it. Or you hear it on the VA Earls, skip 2 months. No, you don't skip 2 months. You're paying for that 2 months, right?
When it comes to a purchase, it's like, figure out if money's tight, then it's like, hey, okay, it might make more sense to close at the end of the month. We're not gonna collect as much prepaid, but if
Right.
it's not a factor. Yeah, it's like the trade-off.
Right.
Do you want 2 months when really it's just one, or do you want like cheaper costs? You can pick either or, but you're not saving more per se.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I do want to show you guys, because we didn't do Chat GPT, but I want you guys to, gentlemen and ladies, I know you are on the road all the time, and I know that, who takes client calls on the road?
I stopped doing it.
Okay.
It's too much.
I don't blame you. So this thing, anybody have an iPhone? All right. That thing, you throw it on your phone.
She's like, what did you just do?
So yesterday, Christine kept asking me if I was taking notes about our call. And I said, yes, Christine, I am taking very diligent notes of all the stuff that we're going to be talking about tomorrow. The entire call was recorded. My next steps were there. And then I had a mind map to keep us on track of exactly what's happening.
I like this.
I was riding a scooter with AirPods in. I was like, you're taking notes, right? Because I'm not. I'm just talking right
And I'm
now.
like, yeah, I'm walking, right?
And I was like, we don't need to talk about this. Like, we know we're good. And he's like, no, we're talking it out because I have something cool I'm doing, and you'll see. And I was like, okay. Midnight, I get this lengthy outline, and I'm just like, oh, okay. He took notes, for sure. Do you have that thing attached to your phone when you were talking to me?
Yeah. So when I'm on the road and I'm taking a call from a client, I don't want to write. I don't want to pull over. I want to just talk on my phone. So I'll let them know, hey, I am going to put a note taker on that's going to record our call, because the entire call, if I wanted to go listen to it, not mine and Christine's, I don't know what client this is, so I got to be careful.
Gotta be careful with me too, though, to be honest.
No, my clients are.
Rates are somewhere around 7.
You may regret this.
With other realtors.
Okay, I can barely hear her. But when I sent, so imagine you refer me a client. I'm sorry, what was your name one more time? Sam? Is it?
Sam. Yeah.
So Sam, you refer a client over. You say, Mike, I got Joe Smith wants to buy a house. Can you jump on a call with him? Great. Typically, I'd call you back and I'd say, hey, got a hold of him. I'm getting his docs. Send an email update as well. As soon as we get his docs, I'll have a pre-approval. He told me he'll have it to me in 24 hours. If he doesn't, I'll shoot a group text so that, he knows that we're both on it. But then I'm going to come in and I'm going to send you this entire breakdown, because it's going to say the call covered various topics: the impact of interest rate drops on the housing market, inventory issues, client motivations, property considerations between condos and single-family homes. So where this becomes stronger than even me taking notes, if we're talking right now, you and I are on a phone call, Sam, and you're telling me something, you're not taking notes on what you're saying, right? You're taking notes on what I'm saying. So for me, I may have, by the time I get back to the office or you guys get back from a showing or a closing, it might be 3 hours later and then you're like 27 calls deep. You're like, I don't even remember this person's name, right? And it's now literally brought it down. So if I'm sending you this, Sam, I'm saying, okay, I talked to the client about condos versus houses. Condos may be a better option for the client due to ease of maintenance, but concerns about HOA fees and resale value exist. Condo challenges. Challenges with condos include potential issues with HOA fees, resale value, and the risk of becoming non-warrantable. So you're now walking back to a client where it's like, I've peeled back all the layers of the onion, but you also know what I've said to them. And then if you're like, Mike, you talk too much, I don't want to hear like all the stuff that you just said. I just want to see a quick breakdown. Okay, they talked about home buying, financial planning, market trends, client preferences, loan options, down payment, credit history, employment, market predictions, pre-approval process. They're connected on social media for more content. Looking at both condos and single-family homes. Soft credit pull initially, hard pull later. Pre-approval. Do you know how valuable, like my team used to want to shoot me on a daily basis. If you see my handwriting, you can't read it. And I take chicken scratch applications on pieces of napkin, and I take pictures of it, and I send it to them, and I say, I was at Starbucks, sorry. When I found this thing, like, they were gonna throw, like, they want to do a whole celebration that they don't have to get my napkin phone applications anymore, right? So, of course, it's a safety thing, right, as we're driving and you guys are more on the road. But that can also, if you were just sitting in a meeting right now, let me see it for a sec, and I'm sorry, your name one more time? Nadine, this thing is going to record us just so I don't have to take notes. It's just sitting here. And then it's going to come back when the transcript comes. It's going to say when Nadine's talking. It's going to say when Mike's talking. So when you're in a team meeting, this thing can record phone calls. It can record. When I was at the Forward conference last week, I was recording all the speakers.
Gary V.
Gary V. I got his recorded.
He got me a book from Gary V. I'm so happy.
Where is your Gary V. book?
With my stuff.
Yeah, there was Hormozy was out there. There was a good lineup. But this thing is backed by ChatGPT. So it takes the call, puts it into ChatGPT. ChatGPT does this whole summarization, and then now we can all be like James Bond.
What's it called?
It's called Claude AI.
$150 is priceless when you don't crash and burn in your car, right?
After a call, it summarizes, but this is more in depth.
Yeah, and follow this one. Like my business partner called me. I'm like, Rob, like stop with these devices. Like he's always buying something, and I'm like, bro, stop buying toys. And he's like, no, I'm telling you, it's good. I'm like, Rob, you don't know if it's good because you haven't used it. It hadn't even came in the mail yet. He's like, I know, but watch the commercial. And I'm like, I felt bad because it was a guy with like robotic arms. And I'm like, this is like a bad ad. Like you should have shown me any other ad of like maybe somebody busy talking on the phone. Now I feel bad for this guy. But
that's the strategy. Just kidding.
I mean, it definitely, pattern interrupt for me, caught me. But that thing has literally been a game changer. My team no longer wants to kill me. And it goes with me everywhere. I was at the airport the other day. I'm like, man, I got to sit down and take notes. I was like, oh, no, I got my thing with me. I pulled it out, told them, I'm like, hey, I'm going to put this thing to record. Last time I said this, people were arguing with me in the class. I believe, and even if I don't believe, I'm going to say it to cover my tail for compliance. Michigan is a 2-consent state. Apparently somebody in the last class was here and they said for sure it is not a 2-consent state.
They said it recently changed.
Oh, they did?
Long ago it changed to one party, but as long as you let people know, you can record.
Yeah, I would just, even if it's one party consent, I would still just,
Let 'em know.
yeah, be like out of respect to the client, just say, hey, I'm gonna,
Can be recorded for
Quality assurance.
training purposes.
I just tell them, listen, man, this is too many notes and I'm on the road. I don't want to forget anything that we're talking about.
'Cause it's
And I want to
important.
be able to send you a detailed recap email to you and your realtor so that your realtor knows everything that we spoke about and they can make more informed decisions because they might tell you, oh, yeah, we're looking at 200. By the time they talk to me, we're like, yeah, but we just did the 200 payment. You just told me you're comfortable with, up to 3,800. Well, we're actually looking more at like 375, right?
Their buying power goes up.
So lots of different stuff. So I'm going to cut it because literally we can keep going forever. So thank you guys so much. Is there questions? Is there what things can we answer for you guys? I know we covered a lot.
I got a lot out of this. I'm glad I came.
If you guys were to pick, I'm just going to go around the room. If you were to pick your biggest takeaway.
We were supposed to record this.
Oh, we are?
No. That was one of the questions. For the individual.
Ask the question.
Don't look at me with that.
Ask the question.
No, you're not listening.
We gotta be on screen, is what you're saying?
Well, that was one of my questions for the podcast.
Who's not going to be able to stay around for the podcast?
If
Okay.
Fadi can still stay, he wants to go first because he got to go.
Okay. We want to
We
get
have a couple
Sam.
questions for everybody if you want to, and if you have a special topic or you want to make a video. But yeah, no, it's okay. What's one thing you learned today that you want to implement and you want to be more aware of with your?
I'm buying this thing.
Yeah, me too. That's helpful.
All right, so
What
plug.
is that?
Like the Heckam stuff that he was talking about, like I like some of that stuff for because I do a lot of downsizing or helping people, so that was helpful.
I'll die. I barely scratched the surface on that
I
one.
want to know. I don't ever want to. I want to know just enough to be a little dangerous. So that
Sure.
I can help someone else. Like I'm really good at my part of the pie. but
100%.
I don't want to get into anybody else.
And even with property tax, I'll tell you in my classes, hey, I don't want you to be a property tax expert. You don't have to be. But just this understanding is going to make you so much more valuable.
Yeah, because you can still call Christine and say, hey, I still do. She's
I
like,
just
you.
want to know it's like an option so I can tell people, but then I always say like, I'm not the expert, but I can connect you with an expert.
Yeah.
Right? Because then they ask me questions and then I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That way.
But
No,
knowing
and-
that 3-number math is so valuable.
Yeah.
I'll shoot you I did one at a financial advisor's office, a more in-depth one, or like 2 hours on that. You may not want to watch the whole 2 hours, but I will show you guys. One more. No, I actually will give you a secret on how to watch my video. In this 2-hour video, you can watch it in.
I don't even know how my students last 2 hours in my class.
You can do it like worksheets. Right.
Oh, I do give you a test. I do. I make y'all do a quiz.
I know we're going to talk about a lot more real estate investments, but boy, you got to diversify your portfolio, and I would definitely be getting to know Verde Capital Management and their folks and rely on them for your wealth planning.
That's my business partner, Rob. That's the one who got the applaud. But you guys see this right here? Transcript and summary. This is something called GLASP. It's a free extension for Chrome, GLASP. So when you have people like me and Christine and Rob who talk a lot, and you're like, I'm not listening to the hour and 13 minutes of this, you click on GLASP. That's not what you click on. You click on, you see the Chat GPT icon right here? You click on that, and all of a sudden, it's just summarized everything to you in 5 bullet points. And now I can ask it, who spoke more, Rob or Mike? There's never a time that I speak more than Rob, so this detailed explanation about mortgage planning, this is all cap, okay? ChatGPT is lying here. Especially this class, Rob was on a roll. But I will show you guys this. So I know Gary Vee likes to say, and he did it again at the conference, you got to post on 78 platforms 42,000 times a day. We're like, bro, we got a business run, right? Like, it's not realistic, and we don't have a media team like him. However, we can create shortcuts, which I think you've built your own GPTs. For me, I can take that whole transcript, or I can say, why should I never put 20% down on a house? Now, this is from Mo Ismail. Mo Ismail was in the pictures with me earlier. He's responsible. He grew Rene Rodriguez's TikTok to 1 million followers, Chris Doe's Instagram to about, I think, 900,000 followers. But he's a creative, like, genius. So we built out these things. So when I want to go put out content, I don't really have to think, right? So if I want to post 1 reel a day, 1 Facebook written post a day, 1 LinkedIn article a week, this can all be done right here, because all I did was I just typed in, why should I never put 20% down on a house? And it says, think putting 20% down on a house is a must. Think again. Many believe a 20% down payment is necessary to buy a home. It's not. For every $10,000 you put down, you only lower your payment by about $50 per month. This means that large down payments might not significantly impact your monthly budget as much as you think. Instead, explore home loan programs like FHA, conventional, and VA that allow you to buy with as little as 0 to 5% down. This keeps more cash in your pocket for other expenses and investments. You can type in anything you want, and it'll do that. And I have different ones where this one is going to write my captions for my reels. This is my social media marketer, and when I say I talk to it like an assistant, like I tell it, you are a seasoned social media marketer with 20 years of experience. You have been tasked with the assignment of growing my social media presence online. I'm a mortgage advisor who needs to create online content across social media to grow my personal brand on Instagram and YouTube so I can blah, 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 blah. You will help come up with content. You can say please, because in case robots take over later, like maybe they'll spare us. You know? Like please spare me. But these things, so those of you that are going to shoot podcasts today, anybody use Opus in here?
Yeah, I do.
So me and David, let's say we shoot a 7-minute podcast. We take that, upload it into here. It'll create 10 viral reels. I'm going to take the transcript out. I'm going to go to ChatGPT. I'm going to put one, and I'm going to give you guys a full class on this another time. But I'm going to put one into the Facebook written writer. I'm just going to copy the transcript, and it's going to come up with what it comes up with. I'm going to put up the one with the LinkedIn writer, which that is going to give me an article for 800 words or less. And I'm going to send you guys all the ChatGPT prompts that I've used to build these GPTs. Yeah.
I only use it on the phone, so I haven't logged into it on the laptop. I think I need to do that because you opened up a whole new world for me.
Like, if you guys see the things that I make ChatGPT do for me, like, I really didn't know.
It's okay. I know.
Like, I don't know about surge protectors, but ChatGPT does. So I got all this equipment in the podcast room. I'm getting yelled at. They're like, if you don't have the right equipment, then everything's going to explode and you're going to mess up the equipment. I was like, oh, okay. So let's just go into ChatGPT. And I told it whatever it was, what I'm using, and then I started to just ask it more questions. What's the difference between this one and this one? How does the Pro compare against the 4? Mind you, I don't know what any of these words mean. You think I know what offers unique voltage protection and robust construction? I don't know what that means. I mean, is it built well? But my point is, I'm able to interact with it enough and keep asking it questions to give me that answer that I want. And the last one is,
And here I'm just using it for captions and emails, same thing. Whole new world.
well, and you can tell it,
Everything
know,
manually.
right, Christine, and
Did you really? Did he really? Do you see what he
Christine,
did?
an email about
Got my devil horns come out when I hear Christina.
stopping on sending me tax bills. Dear Christine, I hope this email finds you well. Despite my previous requests, I continue to receive tax bills that should not be directed to me. I kindly ask you to review the records, blah, 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 blah. Does it?
Yeah.
So now one thing to keep in
I
mind,
worked so hard.
this is from Mo and Gary Vee, and I don't know, the algorithm changes 500 times. They told me never copy and paste because there's AI detection on all the other platforms. So like we'll take this, put it into a Word doc, change some words around, and then go put it in the necessary place.
So you're saying Instagram will recognize that you copied and pasted it from this platform, and it'll like not push your stuff out?
Correct.
Oh, so that's what it does.
Good. No wonder my engagement's so great because I write everything myself.
What is there a software?
Yeah, so just like ChatGPT, there's Quillbot.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one. Okay.
You just put everything there. It's gonna paraphrase everything for you, and then AI won't be able to identify where you got it from.
Oh, nice. Okay.
What's that called? Quail?
And then the other one that we use alongside ChatGPT, I like Claude 3.5. Claude is a little bit. Sometimes ChatGPT, like I have to tell it, like, why are you? Literally, I say like, why are you lying? You know, and then like I'll say the thing. They're like, oh, sorry, you're right. I made a mistake, and I'm like, all right, so.
Even Grammarly does that for you. It paraphrases everything.
Does it?
Yes.
Okay.
It checks
I
for
think I
plagiarism
have.
as well. So there's like no way you can find out.
I thought I used to have the Grammarly plugin. Is that
Like,
it?
my students do that. I get to know.
Oh no, that's ChatGPT, right? Oh, you can check if they cheated. Okay. So, but if they use Grammarly, you wouldn't know.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. But
All right.
yeah, so there's so much. Again, this is going to be a continuous workshop, and then who is staying for podcasts? Okay, so you see the question.
So I have questions written down. Oh, you want me to tell them? That's no fun. You didn't tell me. When he interviewed me, Andrew didn't tell me any questions. I had to just, and I'm going to do it to you today.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Oh, I only have like 4 questions for anybody. Just, you want me to know? I'll just tell you. Well, it's not as
I'll
fun.
be improv, don't worry.
I'm improv. Nobody else likes being
I'll
improv?
do it. I'll improv it.
All right, who has to go? We'll do whoever's.
I'm not doing it.
Oh, okay. Fadi, you got to go? Are you going to do one with me?
Sure.
Okay.
How long is it?
5-10 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's
We're going to shoot it, and then so the cool thing about working with American Financial Network, it's gigantic corporation in California. So we have a marketing team that'll help us with edits and all sorts of stuff. So
California doesn't do our edits.
Okay.
Neil Dinger's team does our edits.
Even better. Does anybody know who that is?
Yeah.
What's his Instagram name?
Neil Home.
Neil.
Neil owns Forward Academy. That's probably been one of my biggest mentors on the video side. How do I get to Instagram? Oh, oops. So these are the people that I would follow. Or search Neil Home.
I'm not telling you guys questions. I just came up with them right now as I was sitting here. So you don't get to know.
And in all reality, so this was Forward event. This is what we just got back from. But if you guys just like never know what to say on videos, just literally remake Neil's video. that's literally his scripts are in my every month. He emails me his scripts, and every month me and him have very similar videos, but he says it in a different way than I would say. So he probably gives me mine like a month after he does his, right? But Neil is a great person to follow. Again, from the social side, which a lot of the stuff that we're going to be teaching you guys, my buddy Mo Ismail.
Is Melissa still here?
I don't know where she is.
Well, we need her.
Why?
Don't need her for the camera? You got it?
No. And Renee Rodriguez. I would definitely follow these three. Your first two are going to be more social media and whatnot. Renee is a lot, of course we talk about influence, but communication on how to, on how to deliver, right? If you guys see there's, and now it comes natural, but there's sequencing in my communications called a frame message tie down, right? If you guys hear me say like, oh, what that means to you or why that's important to you, those are tie downs. A frame can be a picture, anything. The message is the message you're trying to get across. But Renee is responsible for, honestly, a lot of my success. It's been a journey with him. And then, is everybody following Christine?
Of course.
I don't know who I follow. David, I know I've got you. That's me. I'm not as cool as Christine. But that's, yeah.
It's just funny. I was living under a rock for a decade, and then I just randomly typed in the Michigan Assessor on Instagram, and it wasn't available, and here we are a year and a half later. Weird.
So if any of you guys just shoot me a follow, I'll follow you back. Obviously, now I know from the list everybody that's here. And then, so what I was going to show you guys, and that's Forward. Like when I say literally every month, every single month, there is scripts. So if you guys ever are like, Mike, I don't know what to say, I don't know how to keep it at 30 seconds, literally pop in our office, or I'll email you, and every single month, you don't have to think of like, oh, what do I gotta say, how do I gotta say it, how long should it be, what time should I post, blah, 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 blah. You got, you got about 10 posts.
You're quick happy.
I'm excited.
Me too.
But you'll have these scripts, and if you guys see me shoot videos, it's a pretty funny process, because no matter how long you do it, I mess up 400 times. I think she said you have a big social media following, right?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Okay. Kinda?
Yeah,
All right.
I think it's like around 5K followers.
Nice. A lot of education on there?
Yeah,
All right,
it's all accounting, finance. It's so funny because I typed Michigan taxes and your Instagram popped up randomly and I started following her that way.
She came out of nowhere one day,
Nowhere.
and I'm so happy you
My
did.
circle follows her, so I was
Same with you. You came out of nowhere. Hey, let's do a whole 2-hour interview.
I think that's the beauty of social
Yeah.
media, right? Back to being seen, or being seen before, and being seen, known, liked, and trusted, and being seen before and after. So, yeah, I don't know where Melissa is.
Do we need her for that?
Yeah,
Call her.
is she in my office?
No. Call her, and I'll talk to them. Has anybody, who wants to go on camera? No, girls?
I'm gonna see how it goes with this.
Okay. I have 5 questions. Has anybody, so the people who are going on camera with me today, have you ever been on camera? Are you leaving? You're gonna leave without hugging me? Are you serious? Oh, I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, honey.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
5 questions, but I want you to answer them authentically. I mean, if you completely mess up, we can just ask it again, right? Because we can just clip it. Yeah. See, me, I'm notorious for no breaks. My videos are literally 60 to 90 seconds of me talking nonstop. They're not edited at all. So I don't
Multi-clips, 'cause I be happy to breathe.
I don't do multi